of the Ohio Roller Girls All-Stars versus the Rideau Valley Vixens. I'm the Derby Nerd, joined by Captain Lou Albamo. Captain Lou, do you have some updates from that first half for us?
I do indeed. One of the problems that the Vixens may have had in the first half is that they have picked up 21 majors compared to the 5 majors that Ohio picked up.
Ouch.
They've also had 5 power jams against them, and have only been the beneficiaries of 1. For Ohio, the Smacktivists picked up 66 points, including a 30-point jam. Phoenix Buns with 30, Kitty with 18, Bratislava Bruiser with 36 points, and we will note that both of those, all those 36 points were picked up on 2 power jams that she was originally started as a pivot. They were panty passes. So really nice use of the star pass, underutilized tool in roller derby. This Big Rig with 17, Hellion Boy with 9, and Bernadette also picked up 1. And the second half is underway, Nerd.
Soul Wrecker is going to take the outside on turn number 1, but she's being held up as Phoenix Buns breaks through the front wall of Hannah Murphy. And Blackout Susan to take lead jammer, but right on her tail is Soul Wrecker, and Phoenix Buns is going to try and engage. Little jammer on jammer action. Now, you were there for the second half, Captain Lou. Ohio came out shooting against the CN Power in the second half. A 20-4 run, I think.
They did indeed, yeah.
So it's something the Vixens are going to have to be aware of if they want to get back into this one.
Vixens doing a good job keeping Ohio off the board that time around. Pixie cuts for the Vixens, the Smacktivist, leading point getter for her team, taking the star for Ohio.
And it looks like it's a 3-3 pack. Both teams have 1 skater in the box. A nice job. Again, both jammers working opposite, inside, outside. It is Pixie Cuts who goes inside but gets knocked to the inside, and outside is Smacktivist. That was a lot of inside-outsides, but she is your lead jammer.
Yeah, Pippi Rip Your Stockings and Lorraine Acid doing a number on Pixie Cuts, but she does manage to get free.
And now Smacktivist hunting her down around turn number 1 as the pack is at a dead stop at turn 3. Both jammers approaching.
Whoa.
Called quickly by the Smacktivist. Nothing on that pass.
Near collisions at the end of that. Jammer is going at full speed as the Smacktivist called it off. Smacktivist picking up 4 points, 189 to 22 for Ohio. And we're going to see DDT, who managed to get 3 of her team's points in the first half.
I believe was it only 2 skaters scored in that first half? Or?
No, there were 4 skaters from the Vixens, but 16 of their points were picked up by Carnage.
Yeah, so obviously the Vixens can work a power jam if they get it. The only power jam in the first half, they picked up 16 points. So let's see if they can take advantage of any of those here if they get them. Hellion Boy now jamming for the Ohio Roller Girls All-Stars, and she is your lead jammer. DDT trying to come through on the outside, takes a big hit from Phoenix Buns, came from nowhere, and ended that nice skate by DDT.
Yeah, DDT almost sent into her own bench with the distance of that hit. Long slide, DDT still hung up on the wall of green. Meanwhile, Hellion Boy is through the pack.
Oh,
and not through the pack.
Getting swallowed nicely now by that front wall of 3. Brennan, Blackout Susan, Brennan and Rudolph and Hannah Murphy. 5 points picked up for Hellion Boy. Oh, and DDT heading to the penalty box.
Yeah, that was some fine bridging by the Vixens, but while that happened, DDT picked up what looks like a track cut.
Oh, Hellion Boy sent down to the track hard right here in front of the benches.
And we're going to see another star pass again. Phoenix Buns putting the star on. She has jammed in this game. She can do pretty much any roll, and she will be the one racing away. Picked up 3 points on that pass.
And so much speed from Phoenix Buns.
Make that
already
4.
Coming around to score. Oh, and works her way nicely around that spread pack on turn number 2. Only 2 skaters left, Brennan and Hannah Murphy. They're the duo that have found themselves on the track alone a lot so far this game and this weekend. Oh, and a nice move from Phoenix Buns. Fakes inside, fakes outside, hops inside on turn number 2 for 5 more points.
Yeah, Rudolph and Blackout Susan picking up penalties on the previous pass. trimming that pack down to 2 blockers for the Vixens. 4 more points go up on the board for Phoenix Buns and the Ohio Roller Girl All-Stars. They will start the next jam not on a power jam. DDT managed to get out right at the last second, so Carnage will go out there, number 22, leading scorer for the Vixens, and she'll be lined up against Kitty Lickerbottom.
Only 2 in the pack now for the Vixens. It's a 4-2 pack advantage for the Ohio Roller Girls. Margaret Choke and Semi Precious out there against Avatar, to name one. Amy Spears doing some nice work one-on-one against Carnage at the back of the pack.
At the front of the pack, that's Murphy doing some nice blocking work of her own on Kitty Lickerbottom. Murphy hitting the ground. That was a
no.
And what the announcers like to call an improper pass, which means she did not get lead jammer, but no penalty was called on it. So there's still a potential for Carnage to get lead jammer if she can get out the front of the pack. Meanwhile, Kitty is putting points on the board for Ohio. And we have a track cut on Carnage.
Nice job by Avatar. I don't even think Carnage saw her back up. Really smart play from the very smart Ohio Roller Girls blocker, Avatar. And she's going all the way back now. So power jam for the Ohio Roller Girls as they've built their lead now to 200 points, just over 200 points. And already back around now for another turn.
Kitty Lickerbottom getting cycled to the outside. That's number 40, Rudolph, able to hold her slightly in the back, trying to get her out the front there. Way out of play. Blackout Susan Rudolph having to let Kitty go. Kitty picking up another 5 points. 35 seconds left in the jam. It is a power jam, and Kitty's looking for more. Nice hit by Rudolph, but unable to push Kitty out of bounds. Kitty with another 5 points up.
Wow, big pickup right here from the Ohio Roller Girls. Starting to run away with it a bit here early in the second half. Margaret Choke, I'm just looking at the board now. That is her 5th trip to the box for the Rideau Valley Vixens, in danger of fouling out. We've already had a couple foul outs this game, or this tournament. Carnage now coming back on the track, and beautiful bridging as Carnage comes out of the penalty box. And Ohio just so aware all the time, making her take the longest possible route in.
That's right. I think some of those skaters were indicated as being out of play at the back by head referee Jules and Regulations. But Carnage, after suffering that track cut earlier in the jam, unwilling to take any risks and come in front of them. So they were able to draw her way, way back. 242 for the Ohio Roller Girls, 22 for the Vixens. Vixens not able to score during the second half so far. Smacktivist pushing her way through on the inside, getting lead jammer almost immediately. That Soul Wrecker managed to get through the pack as well. She's giving chase to the Smacktivist.
And just brilliant pack work you can see right now by the Ohio Roller Girl sisters. Zaster getting a little frustrated at the back of the pack, just can't make it through. Wow.
Oh, Lorraine Acid trying to jump her own skater. Smacktivist hitting the ground at the end of that jam. Lorraine Acid trying to hurdle her. Didn't quite do it successfully, but enough not to cause any injury. Big smiles on the Smacktivist's face. Lorraine Acid right back out there to do some more blocking.
Phoenix Puns coming back out with the star for the Ohio Roller Girls in black, and that's number 9, Pixie Cuts in yellow for the Rideau Valley Vixens. 2:46:22, 22 minutes remaining in the second half.
We're going to get an official timeout.
We should take a moment maybe to introduce you to this referee crew. We've got a fantastic ref and NSO crew at the Quad City Chaos in 2013. Jules and Regulations are head ref tonight.
Jules and Regulations, and Deuce Willis is also doing inside pack refereeing. We have Senior Winor and Hot Carl doing some jam reffing. Null Pointer Ref, a level 4 referee from Montreal Roller Derby. On the outside, joined by level 2 referee Bonesy Adams and Punk Kitty, who hails from the Hammer City.
And holy crap, we should also take this opportunity to talk about some of our sponsors, including Holy Crap Cereal. I heard that it actually gives roller girls superpowers.
Absolutely.
That's the rumor. So you should check out Holy Crap Cereal. Find it, eat it, it's delicious. Also big thanks to rollerbug.com, Foundation Physiotherapy, The Grid, and Kind Healthy Snacks, all sponsors of the Quad City Chaos 2013.
And the official timeout is over. We're ready to get the jam underway. Captain Phoenix Buns as a star in her head for Ohio, and that's Pixie Cuts for the Vixens.
Oh, Margaret Choke looked like she had Phoenix Buns all locked up, but then Phoenix Buns makes a nice little move to the inside and just fights her way through in turn number 2. Lead jammer is number 23 in black, Phoenix Buns.
Pixie Cuts accelerating on the outside, escaping the pack. Really nice acceleration on her part. She did very well to get free. Phoenix Buns has breached the pack, picked up her 4 points, calls off the jam before Pixie Cuts can put 8 points up on the board. No points for Rideau Valley in the first 8.5 minutes of the second half. Ohio did go on a 127-0 run in the first half, and they have put up 80 points, I believe, in the second half so far.
Yeah, just under 80 points it looks like. 75.
65, 65, I guess. We're having math issues at the moment. The numbers are so big.
That's right.
Hellion Boy against Soul Wrecker.
Hellion Boy now cutting through the middle of that pack, and she is squeezing through for lead jammer. Hellion Boy in black. Vixens now shifting to offense, trying to get their jammer through, and they do get Soul Wrecker through, number 55.
And first time in a long time we're seeing 4 yellow jerseys on the track for the Vixens. Penalty troubles hopefully under control. Hellion Boy is in that pack looking to get points. She's through. 4 fingers in the air from her jam referee. That's going to move the Ohio Roller Girls up to 254 to the 22 for the Vixens.
Blackout Susan's going to stay out there now, and again, 4-3 slight pack advantage for the Vixens. This is a rarity in this game so far. As you mentioned, they had 21 penalties, jammers and blockers in the first half. So for them to get a little cleaner, keep their bodies on the track, we've seen at the beginning of this game that they can actually do well 5-on-5 against this Ohio team.
That's right. Kielbasa for the Ohio Roller Girls in the box. Big Rig jamming for the Ohio Roller Girls. That's DDT running up against Phoenix Buns at the front. And Phoenix Buns causing a track cut, which means we've got another power jam.
Phenomenal work from Phoenix Buns. And power jam now for the Ohio Roller Girls. Not what the Vixens were looking for right now, but Phoenix Buns heading to the box. That'll be good news for the Vixens jammers, but you can see the patience from Ohio. They're just going to let Big Rig do her work here.
And apparently Blackout Susan has picked up her 6th penalty of the game, so she is in danger of hitting that magical 7 mark where you are no longer eligible to play roller derby in a game that you started.
I believe that's actually Margaret Choke.
Oh, that's right, it is Margaret
16.
Choke, sorry.
Yeah, 6 penalties for Margaret Choke.
She's got a nice variety on there too, so.
Yeah, it's not for any one thing at all. Nice job, nice defense here from this Vixens pack. 3 of them left on the plaque. Blackout Susan, Hannah Murphy. Nice job, fast pack by the Vixens is what they want right now as they're trying to kill some time on this clock, and DDT has stood. She's going to re-enter the pack. Power jam over for Ohio, and not aware that she's come on. Is DDT able to sneak by? Not quite.
Well, Kielbasa had her lined up, but Margaret Choke blindsided Kielbasa, knocked her to the ground, letting DDT get by. DDT skipping through the front of the pack, so she'll be able to stop the bleeding. There were only 15 seconds left in the jam. As the Ohio Roller Girls call it off, they have moved to 268. Still only 22 points for the Vixens. Vixens unable to score in the first 12 minutes of the second half.
Now you're looking at our beautiful faces here on Canuck Derby TV. We know you've tuned in to watch the skaters on the track, but a little insight of behind the scenes and what's going on.
That's right. A couple of guys sitting with microphones.
Smacktivist out there jamming in black for Ohio, and it is a carnage for Rideau Valley, and she's getting drawn back right off the start.
Yeah, again, she seems a little gun shy after taking those track cuts, so she's making sure that she's not cutting at all.
And lead jammer goes to Smacktivist, a nice little one-on-one battle with Rudolph at the front of the pack. A skater formerly known as Frostbite Me for those Rideau Valley fans tuning in on Canuck Derby TV. Oh, an Annihilator comes from out of nowhere. Brennan with a huge hit. And nice job by the Vixens blocker to push the Smacktivist back into the pack, trying to buy some time for Carnage to fight her way through, and it works. She does. Carnage finally through in her first pass. And now Sister Disaster getting in on Smacktivist, using Brennan as an anchor. Nice job. Nice defense from the Vixens on that jam.
Smacktivist checking her teeth, making sure they're all there, seeing if any blood's coming from her face. I think she took some facial abuse during that. But again, keeping the Vixens off of the board. Vixens still at 22, 272 for the Ohio Roller Girls. And we have Bernadette wearing the star once again for Ohio. She picked up 1 point when she did that in the first half. Soul Wrecker starting from 20 feet back on the jammer line. The Wicked Skatewear jammer line getting cycled back by Avatar and by Chainsaw.
And just nice work right off those starts, just pulling Soul Wrecker all the way back and forcing her to come back in. Not only does it take time, it takes energy to do that. And Ohio seems to be working every aspect of this game very well right now. Nice offensive blocking from Phoenix Buns on Hannah Murphy, making sure that the Vixens defensive superstar can't lock in on her jammer. And Soul Wrecker still having a hard time getting by. Finally, no, just as she seems to get through, Phoenix Buns knocked her out of bounds.
Blackout Susan hitting the ground. She had knocked Amy Spears over earlier in the pack confrontation. Soul Wrecker finding a line on the inside. She escapes from the pack as well. Bodies hitting the floor on turn 2.
Some heavy defense now from the Vixens, forcing a call off. One of the better jams that the Vixens have had defensively here in the second half.
Well, I think the Vixens probably know that time is ticking down in this half. Haven't put 8 points up on the board. They don't have to play again tomorrow. They do have to play one more, or they don't have to play again today. They have to play one more game tomorrow. But with 15 minutes left, it's time to give it everything you got. The last couple jams have amped up the intensity.
Pixie Cuts coming out there to jam for the Rideau Valley Vixens. I got to say, she's having a breakout tournament for me. I know she did play for them last year, I believe, for the Vixens, but she's obviously becoming a very, very important member of this team. Oh, and announcer's law says...
Yeah, you shouldn't have said anything, Derby Nerd.
As soon as you compliment a player, she will pick up a major cut and head to the box. Was that a cut?
It was a track that happened pretty much immediately as you started complimenting her. So.
I'm sorry. So, Power Jam, Kitty Lickerbottom and the Ohio Roller Girls with a big lead as it is. The number 21 ranked team in the WFTDA here against the 71st ranked team in the WFTDA, and showing the difference in those rankings on the scoreboard right now. Nice work, though, by the Vixens to pull Kitty Lickerbottom back, and they are doing a nice job of killing time on this penalty kill.
Sister Disaster, the pivot for the Vixens, heading to the penalty box.
And Hannah Murphy with some nice one-on-one work again, just buying some time for her jammer.
Big block fighting her way to the front of the pack. Rudolph being trapped at the back. She will be the goat de jour, or goat de jam, I guess.
Does break through that, gets back to the front to help form a wall with the Vixen skaters, but the big block peeled off now by Out of My Way Man. Nice pack control by Ohio, but nice recycling of the jammer by the Rideau Valley Vixens. Again, good penalty kill on this power jam, and Pixie Cuts comes flying out of the box. Now, absorbs the hit from Lorraine Acid on turn number 1 and is through on her first pass.
Yeah, that's physics working on Soul Wrecker's behalf. Those outside-in hits are hard to complete if the jammer has a bit of speed behind her. It's just not going to work. Centrifugal force is going to let you bounce off of those, and Soul Wrecker showed that happen. Science in action.
Science.
286 for the Ohio Roller Girls, 22 for the Vixens. Vixens held scoreless for the first 17 minutes of the second half. Ohio Roller Girls creeping ever closer to the 300-point mark. Bratislava Bruiser is going to wear the jammer panty as a proper jammer for the first time. She's always taken it as a star pass. And DDT number 74 for the Vixens.
3 skaters on the track for the Vixens. Lead jammer now going to Bratislava Bruiser. Again, her first, despite scoring 36 points, this is her first starting as a jam and her first lead jam. DDT getting knocked to the inside by Lorraine Acid. Forcing to re-approach the pack now and hits a 4-wall, gets pushed to the inside yet again, and just like that, Bruiser is around, picking up 5 points at a natural Grand Slam.
Yeah, apparently Bratislava Bruiser is a solid blocker, but she has been getting more time as a jammer, and once again proving to the crowd here at the bunker in Downsview Park, Toronto, Ontario, that she can put points on the board for her team.
Kilbasa headed into the penalty box for the Ohio Roller Girls, now a 4-3 shift in advantage for the Vixens. But the jam is called as DDT comes around in a potential scoring position. 2:95 to 22, 11:33 remaining in the second half. Second last game of the first day of the QCC. Stick around on Canuck Derby TV for tonight's primetime main event between the rivals, the Queen City Roller Girls, Lake Effect Furies, and Toronto Roller Derby's CN Power. These guys have faced off 3 times in the past 2 seasons, CN Power having an edge 2-1 and have won the last 2.
Right, and both those teams losing their first games today, so
they'll be looking
both will be anxious for victory. Quickly on the outside, that's Soul Wrecker getting lead jammer for the Vixens. First time in the second half, an opportunity to put points up on the board, and the Vixens have Big Rig, the jammer for Ohio, trapped in the back.
Oh, and Big Rig just went to throw a big hit there. Ended up falling down herself, and that is going to allow her. Oh, Soul Wrecker almost through. Oh, and the cut being called Avatar. Phenomenal defense. Wow. Avatar having a phenomenal game. Strong skater.
So briefly, the crowd went wild.
And now silenced again. Big Rig all alone out there in a power jam. No lead jam called. More points are going to be on the board for the Ohio Roller Girls All-Stars. Avatar drawing another major cut now from Blackout Susan, I believe. Yes, the pivot for the Rideau Valley Vixens.
That's definitely a strategy you're going to see a lot more with the new rule set out there. Blockers forcing track cuts on other blockers. It's well worth cycling a blocker back now. Big hit by Murphy on Big Rig, but she's unable to stop her, and the big block is heading to the box. 5 more points for the big, for Bernadette. Bernadette has a, they must have had a star pass.
Yes, when did that happen?
They're doing star passes where we can't see them.
These
used to be the Big Rig.
These Ohio Roller Girls, they are passing the star at will, keeping the announcers on their toes. 300 points has been hit as we were speaking, and now it's going to be 305. Triple century mark passed by the Ohio Roller Girls All-Stars. 305 to 22. Soul Wrecker coming out of the penalty box, blows by a distracted pack. She is through.
Soul Wrecker was on a scoring pass, so there should be some points going up on the board. We're checking with our jam ref, Hot Carl, who's gone over to his scorekeeper, and we're going to see how many points Soul Wrecker got. We've got 5 fingers in the air. 5 points for the Rideau Valley Vixens. Once again, those small victories are things you have to savor when you're losing by 280 points.
Yes, 305 now, 27 your updated score, 8:40 left in this Quad City Chaos 2013 bout. And Smacktivist is your lead jammer. Wow, the Ohio Roller Girls have really come out and dominated the second half. And Smacktivist, MVP of the 2012 WFTDA North Central Regionals.
Oh, no. That would be Carnage going to the track, or going to the penalty box for a track cut. Little spinorama move on the inside when she got hit. Brought her wheels back in bounds, and off she goes. So Smacktivist is going to be able to put even more points up on the board. There's 5 of them right there, nerd.
And Carnage, you could see she heartbroken on that track cut. She really tried to stop herself and go down to a knee, but it was just a little bit too late. The momentum brought her back on the track. And Rideau Valley Vixens finding themselves in a familiar position now. Down a jammer. Only a couple blockers on the track. 3 in there being manhandled right now. The big block being forced into a cut. She's off. 2 now. Brennan, Sister Disaster, all alone out there on this penalty kill.
And you have to wonder what the Lake Effect Furies are thinking while watching this game, because they were beaten earlier today by the Rideau Valley Vixens, and they will be facing the Ohio Roller Girls tomorrow. So I hope they're taking notes and figuring out a strategy. because they do not want to lose by 300 points like Ohio is at the moment, 330 to 27.
It also puts CN Power's loss into quite a bit of perspective. That 46-point loss now suddenly looks even more phenomenal than it felt at the time. Ohio clearly the cream of the crop here. And they did come in here as far and away the highest ranked team in this tournament, so expectations were that they would do well, probably win their games, but they are putting on a clinic right now in the second half in particular of this game, just complete control. Phenomenal awareness of where the pack is at all times and how to manipulate that pack so it's where you want it to be, and just great one-on-one, drawing a lot of these Vixens blockers into one-on-one battles that, you know, the Smacktivist, I'm sure, will enjoy skating every time.
And it looks like Carnage picked up 3 points on that jam, so she has brought the Vixens up to 30.
And I believe the rookie is the leading scorer for for
that's right.
Reno Valley Vixens.
Of the 30 points that have been scored, Carnage has scored 19 of them. So
great job for the rookie.
And we're looking at Captain Phoenix Buns taking the star once again against Pixie Cuts, number 9 for the Vixens. Phoenix Buns running up against Hannah Murphy at the front of that pack and getting past her.
Not too many skaters able to handle Hannah Murphy one-on-one like that, but Phoenix Buns is certainly one of them. Split up and spread out pack now as Phoenix Buns comes around on her scoring pass, enables leap at the apex a little bit for 5 points, and Pixie Cuts still swallowed up in that pack, taking some big hits.
Yeah, Pixie Cuts was just about out of the pack, but Out of My Way Man knocked her down. Out of My Way Man picking up a low block, but Pixie Cuts in the process of trying to get free after that gets a track cut, and we've got another power jam for Ohio.
Yet another power jam as the Ohio Roller Girls approach that 350-point mark. And Buns gets through again by Hannah Murphy, one-on-one, 5 more points.
So now the question is, will the Vixens be able to keep Ohio under the 400-point mark at this point? With only 5 minutes left, you think it wouldn't be likely that Ohio would hit 400, but being on a power jam right now and Phoenix Buns putting another 5 on the board, we may actually see that 400-point mark breached.
And Phoenix Buns, as quickly as she's out, she's back around for another scoring pass, and again, working that 3-wall beautifully, juking, pulling them apart, staying in bounds.
Yeah, single footing it down the line after taking 3 solid hits from the Vixens. Phoenix Buns is right back in there. Hannah Murphy doing everything she can to try to stop her. Unsuccessful.
Amazing. You could see her eyeing up that wall as she approached around turn number 4. She saw exactly where the gap was she wanted to go, and she just took it, wrenched it open, and popped out. 368 now, 34-12 remaining.
And you have to wonder, with 2014 being the year that the Roller Derby World Cup will be held, whether or not we might see someone like Phoenix Buns appearing on that team. I know Hannah Murphy, I think, has eyes on playing for Team Canada again. So,
and she was a huge, valuable member of that Team Canada group at the 2011 Roller Derby World Cup.
As was our jammer of this jam, number 55, Soul Wrecker.
And Soul Wrecker fighting her way through. It's going to be a no pass, no penalty. No lead for Soul Wrecker, but she's on a scoring pass, and it's a dead pack right now. Soul Wrecker coming around on points. Big Rig trying to fight her way through. Finally makes it through, and she is your lead jammer. Now, will she call it? Does she even realize it? Soul Wrecker is scoring. Oh, and Out of My Way Man pushing Soul Wrecker through, and thought maybe it was a cut.
It was close. It was close to a track cut. That's almost we almost expected at this point in time, seeing the number of penalties the Rideau Valley Jammers have been getting. 368 for Ohio, 34 for the Rideau Valley Roller Girl Vixens.
And Vixens getting back up to that they scored 18 or 21 points in the first half, so they're getting back up to that level. 22 points in that first half, so they're getting near that.
And when time is ticking down, we're under the 3-minute mark. That is Amy Spears wearing the star on her helmet.
Ohio mixing it up a bit in this game with a big lead. And Pixie Cuts gets through as her lead, but she's got about 2 feet on Amy Spears, who is It looks more like she's hunting her down than chasing her down.
I think Pixie Cuts has the speed advantage here as much as Amy Spears wants to get her. Though I don't know that Pixie Cuts is going to be able to get any points before Amy Spears does. She does call it off. I'm seeing one finger in the air. That's 35 for the Vixens. A lot of work to get a single, but worth it.
Yeah, I'm sure that 1 point feels like 20 right now. Every inch of this track that the Vixens are able to gain, I think, feels like a lot more than it actually is.
And we're under the 2-minute mark. Technically, we could be heading into our last jam, depending on what teams decide to do. We've got some thanks for people that we ought to give out.
Yeah, we'd like to thank our camera operators for this bout. We've got Hailey Copter, Bethan, and Honey Boom Boom on the cameras. Of course, Slam Wow's been bringing you the Txtcast all game. Big thanks to Tropic Thunder, our director, and of course, Mr. Force, a.k.a. Layer 9, our technical producer.
And check it out, it's lead jammer for the Vixens. That's number 55, Soul Wrecker. And oh, number 216, Kilbossa, was nearly murdered by number 10, Murphy, going into turn number 4. She managed to stay on her feet and escape.
Would have been manslaughter, if anything.
That's right. I don't know. I saw intent in Murphy's eyes.
Maybe. Oh, nice job to stay in bounds and steal 3 points. Wow.
Yeah, that was impressive, skipping through that line. It was like a pace line, jammer drill. 371 for Ohio, 38 for Rideau Valley. And we are well under a minute now. Going to be about 30 seconds ago when this jam starts. I'm betting this will be the last jam of the game. It's going to see Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker going up against DDT.
DDT dancing on the line, as you can see right now, number 74 in yellow, a longtime member of the Slaughter Daughters House League team in Rideau Valley, and one of the original members of this Rideau Valley Vixens travel team.
DDT taking an outside line, trying to get through for lead jammer, but getting caught up by the Ohio blockers, including Out of My Way Man.
The big block with a nice hit. Coming around turn number 3, but could only hold her for so long.
And Texas Chainsaw Sass Kicker is your lead jammer. Time has run out on the clock, so it's a question of whether she's going to call it off, indicating by her coach, Great Scott, she should.
And she does.
That is the time on the game. Ohio held under the 400-point mark by the Rideau Valley Roller Girl Vixens. 371-38, Derby Nerd.
Wow, impressive performance by the Ohio Roller Girls All-Stars, who were really, really at a hard fight earlier today against CN Power. Have come out here, though, and just dictated the pace, the formation, everything in this game against the Vixens, clearly living up to their 21st ranking in the WFTDA.
Yeah, Ohio Roller Girls are one of my favorite teams to watch. I really enjoyed seeing them all through the North Centrals last year. And looks like they are picking up 2013 exactly where they left 2012. They need to climb up a bit higher. I think they feel that the math sort of dropped them a bit lower than they should have been. That has to do with their habit of playing anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Yes.
But put up big points against Rideau Valley today.
Huge win. So a few more thank yous before we sign off here. We do have one more game coming up at 7 p.m. tonight. It will be, I expect it to be somewhat competitive, certainly more competitive than this one. Queen City's Lake Effect Furies against Toronto's CN Power. That's coming up at 7 p.m. Big thank you, of course, to all of the TORD TV crew, but also to the good doctor, Mr. Johnny Capote. He is the brains behind Canuck Derby TV. Don't forget to donate if you're watching and enjoying this. Thank you for the donations that have come in today. We've even heard that they're coming from all over the world. From Iceland, we've had donations. There's people watching in China, so thank you to all the viewers here watching the 2013 Quad City Chaos.
I have been Captain Lou Albamo.
And I'm the Derby Nerd.
Stay tuned for one more game on TORD TV and Canuck Derby TV.